Hey, Daxton, you're gonna lose him. So Daxton just got another bass here. He actually just got a nice one, probably about a 2-pound bass that I thought the video was recording, but it didn't actually record it. So Daxton went ahead and caught another one in that amount of time. This one's not near the size of that other one though. But all he's doing is just putting the rod out here and jigging it. The water is really clear here. So that's what the bass are just seeing them, and you can see the bass, they're just right off the shoreline.
Mommy!
Daxton's gonna go ahead and put him back here. Yep. There he swims off. See, you can still see that bass. You can see him pretty far down there. There's other bass that we can see right around here. Daxton just having a heyday with this. We've got the whole family out here today. Daxton, Molly, and I. Now there it is. You can see the attack, maybe. Yeah, bass might not want it. But we're just out here today trying to get some bass and bluegill. This is a really neat pond because it's really clear for this area. Most of the time whenever we go fishing, it's in a river, and the river is not very clean. It's really muddy, so you can't see anything. So this area is pretty neat to where you can actually see the fish get on the hook a lot of times. And the last time we went out here, we did really good on both bass and bluegill, especially bluegill. We caught some monsters out of there, and that's what we were mainly targeting. But hopefully Daxton will catch another big bass here soon.
Mommy, just throw it right on shore. Then you will just get a quick ride.
So Daxton's not even casting this. He's just kind of throwing it out and seeing if the bass will get it. He's just jigging it right in front of him. This is kind of neat just watching it. Whenever you have this clear water, oh, bass just got it right there. Yeah, hold it out. Whenever you see this clear water, it gives you a chance to see how the bass react to the different kind of baits that you use and to see how your jigging methods worked. Makes you realize the importance of doing a more consistent jigging method, because if you're doing a lot of different jigging, it's gonna be a lot harder to get them. A lot of the smaller lakes like this, where they're not gonna have like the really big catfish or bowfin that we catch, you'll get a lot more numbers here. So you'll get, like here, over these past 2 times, we've seen some really nice bluegill, and we've been able to consistently catch bass that were on up to about 2 pounds, even though I'm sure there's a lot bigger bass in here than that. I'm sure there's some monsters living in here. We're gonna see what we can do today, guys. Might have to switch to a different jig for here. Yeah, I'm just going, pulling it right down the shoreline. Oh, got a little guy here. Oh, he spit it right out. And bass followed me all the way up to the shore there. And try over by this dock over here. We're just trying to go a little bit everywhere for the bass. They're all going to be spread out during the day. Well, we need to go over to where we were catching the fish the best the first time. Now, had a bite but lost him. Yep, yep. It's really hard to set the hook with this big long pole. Nope. Got him there. Just throwing right by a dock can be real good for bass. Bass typically like hiding by structure, and a dock gives them good structure. So they hunt by sight, which is a lot different than catfish. I'll let you throw them back to action. Okay. Nice little largemouth.
Hey, look!
Hey, oh, I'll get that out.
Okay. Okay. No!
It's okay, I'll get you another one. No big deal, Daxton. A long rod is really neat to fish with, but in all practicality wise, it's not for bass fishing. And this crappie jig's kind of messed up too. Bass have kind of mangled this thing. I do have more of them, so I'll be putting another one on there. This is supposed to mimic a little shad, I think like a 3-inch shad. Which for bass, you could definitely use a bigger one too. Dang it. There was a big bass just right by the shoreline there and I spooked him. There's a big bass right out there. He was watching my bait for a little ways, but he never took it. Not finding like the bluegill like we were last time. You got one looking right at it there. It's literally right under the water. Just trying to pull this little crappie jig right on there, and I got one. First cast over here. Nice shady spot. Nice little bass. Yep, there he is. You want to let him go, Daxton?
Yeah.
Okay, put this down here. I don't really want to go that close to the water.
Yeah, you good?
There he is, though. Hey, and I think that's where we're going to find more of the fish, too, since they're not on the spawning beds. See if we can get lucky again on this one. Oh, yep, there's another one. There we go. There's smaller bass.
Not water.
Why?
There he is, guys. Nice little bass. You want to let him back, Daxton? Daxton.
Yeah.
Okay. Daxton always likes to let the bass back, by the way. Like most little kids. Yep, there you go.
I barely see them.
One of the most effective ways to catch bass is just to go right up and down the edges on these places, because the bass are typically hunting. Bad cast, but yep. He spit it out. I watched him take it.
Mommy.
Okay, you can try it. What we're using there is that little crappie jig on a 1/32 ounce head. What we have here for these other rigs is just a bobber down to some split shot, and then we're putting some worm on it. Oh, and Daxton's got one right there. Yep. That's a little bit bigger one too, I think. Yeah. Oh, you get popped right off there. That was a little bit bigger one. Stinker. That's actually a decent sized bass too.
I sold him right on shore and I put my bait in. And he sold it and went.
Oh, buddy.
He was pulling drag.
Yep.
Yeah. Open your roll now. Open. I got him open his mouth.
Yep. That's a nice one. So, okay, you can throw them back.
Okay.
So, guys, literally all Daxton did was put the jig just right in the water, and that's how fast these bass are striking it. You can tell this pond's pretty heavy on the bass. They're everywhere and they're hungry. They're just, yep, right in. So these bass are just taking it right away. They're if you find where they are, this is how it is when you have a pond with a lot of bass in it. They just destroy the baits right away. Now, with that being said, with all the bass in this pond, the bluegill are really good size because they have a lot of predators eating them whenever they're smaller. So the bluegill that are in here, there's a lot of nice ones. We've caught some that weren't far from a pound, about 3/4 of a pound, which that's really big for a bluegill. Yeah, not finding them here. I don't think Molly is either. Artificial's definitely been doing a lot better than a bobber. No, Daxton threw out a little crawdad trap over there where we were. See if we have anything in it.
Oh!
What'd you get?
Nothing. It was a grasshopper.
Oh. Yeah, those will work good for bait.
Is this a grasshopper?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
I just caught in the grass by myself.
You want to use him for bait?
Yeah. Oh, it jumped out.
That's okay. No big deal, Dax. There's more of them here.
No, I want to.
So sometimes these jigs get kind of ruined. A lot of times you can just put them in on a new place and they'll pull better. Because in the water, if it falls away from the jig head, it's not going to look right to the fish. Especially if you're fishing in a clear place like we are here. You really want your bait looking nice to them. Might have kind of scared the bass away from this area now because, oh, just as I say that, I get a hit. There's another little guy. And he had another bass right behind him, a bigger one. And these are all fair-sized bass though. Right there. Nice thing about bass is too, whenever you're catching them with artificial, you don't hardly ever gut hook them. There you go, guys. This bait's getting kind of messed up though. I'm not going to be able to use this just too many more times. I do have other ones though, so it's not like I'm sunk. I just like to get as much use out of them as I can. But if they're not looking right to the fish anymore, it's time to go ahead and change it. I usually try to pull them out a few times. Got a good sized one here. Need help there, buddy? Pull them in, Dax, and that's a real good one. That's about, I think that's about how big yours was earlier. Good job, Daxton. I would rather keep the smaller ones and not this big guy.
Let's keep it, Daddy.
That is beautiful. Oh my gosh, those bass are pretty.
Yeah.
Let's
she's pregnant too.
Oh yeah, so we don't want to keep her.
At least she looks pregnant, unless she's been eating really well. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Here, Daxton, can I hold her?
Yeah. This is a nice size.
No, you got it.
You've caught two nice sized ones now, Daxton. The first one was that big, but
I can hold her in the mouth.
well, okay, so we zeroed out this one with the net on it. Now set her in the net, Daxton. 1.68, 1.7 pounds. It's a pretty good sized bass, really.
I can't believe I caught that big.
Hey, Molly, can you help me measure this? 17 inches.
Wow. That's my biggest one of the day.
Yeah, well, your other one was this big.
Okay, let me
I know,
help
I
you.
will. I'm walking right back. Put your hand in the mouth.
Okay.
I'd actually put his whole fist in that bass's mouth. Oh, got a little guy. Oh, he got off. Oh, Daxton always has to use the pole that I'm using or Molly's using, so he'll use a pole for a little bit. You see somebody else using another one, that's the end of that pole. So go back to crankbait. Hopefully Daxter and I will catch another one here pretty soon. Yep. Well, I guess Daxton almost had the last one that we needed. What, babe? Well, got him right here. There we go. A little small. That's one little bass. We'll toss him back. He needs to do some growing. Throw her out again. Try down here on the bank a little bit more. Whenever you're fishing in shallower water with a big crankbait like this, you basically have to start reeling as soon as it hits the water. Oh. Yeah. Here. Let's see him. There we go.
Can you keep it?
A little small, but I don't know. I think there's plenty of these bass in here. You want to keep them?
Yeah.
Here, go put them in the bucket. These reels kind of tighten them up on the seat every once in a while. Got him. Got off. Dang. Well, guys, we've had a great time here today. We've caught quite a few fish. I think, like my wife said, my little boy might have outfished me today, and he's still fishing, so he still hasn't quit trying to catch them. But we are going to pack up here. We're going to go get something to eat, and then we're going to flay a couple of these little bass out that we've caught today. I think one was 13 inches. The other one's probably about 10 inches or so. So we'll show them how to flay them here in a little while. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so we have the bass here. This is actually the biggest bass today. We can go ahead and flay him. Now, to kill the bass, you can do one of a few things. Normally, I just put them in an ice bath, or you can either hit them on the head, or you can just start cutting in here and they'll die pretty quick. This one's already dead though. This is just nerves. This one's already dead. See that? You'll see them how they'll keep on flopping a little bit afterwards. You're gonna start just right behind here. Start cutting in right behind there. Skin can be a little tough, especially when they're a little bit bigger. So the bass, their skin's gonna be tougher than what a bluegill's will be. You're just gonna wanna come right down and follow the spine. So whenever we're doing this, you just come right down to the rib cage. You're just gonna follow the rib cage down. Just cut all the way through, down to here. That'll make it the easiest. Follow the rib cage down. There's gonna be a little set of bones right here to cut through. Just gonna cut through those, and then should be smooth sailing down, but you're just gonna follow the ribs right down. Cut them. Once you get behind the ribs, you can go all the way through and just cut them all the way back, just following the bones back. Be able to get out mostly the tail. Now this is by far not the best flay job in the world. I don't claim to be a professional or anything. You have that. You have a nice size flay right there. And then to get the skin off, because I like to go ahead and skin the flays. And I've seen people on the younger fish, they go ahead and they just leave the skin on and they'll eat them like that. You're just going to want to hold it down right like this. Take the meat right off. And that's your flay. Now what I like to do with these, I like to go ahead and clean them up too. If you feel right here, these are the bones that we cut through on the first side. So you're going to want to cut through a little bit right here. And then cut through right there. and then cut the bones out. So all you're losing is this little piece of meat. Whenever we cut it through, the reason why we don't just leave this whole piece of meat is because this is below the ribs and we get plenty of meat right there. And that's what you do for the other side, and that's really all there is to it. Hey everyone, so we're back. It's the next day and we have the fish. The fish are just in salt water right now. I like to soak them in salt water, all the fish I catch, for like a day or two before we cook them. Just seems like it takes all the gamey flavor out of them. Whenever I do this, it's not an exact amount of salt or anything. It's probably like a tablespoon or two, and then just mix it with water, leave it in the fridge overnight. Whenever you rinse them off, you just want to make sure that you rinse them off pretty decent so you don't have a bunch of the salt on them or anything. So now we're ready to put them in the first mixture. We have egg wash, which is just 1 egg and some milk, just a little bit of milk. And if you're going to be doing a lot more fillets, you need more than 1 egg and some more milk. I like to go ahead and have them in here and just soak them in here, since we don't have that many. If we had more, I wouldn't put them in here that long. For the breading, I like to have about half and half cornmeal and breadcrumb mix. So I'll go ahead and put that in. Breadcrumbs. We can mix those together. And then you'll want to put your seasoning in. So I'm just going to put some seasoned salt. And then we'll put a little bit of this Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Ranch in too. It's a little bit hotter, so really just any seasoning works. I just like trying new stuff. Just want to mix this up, and then this will be ready for the fish batter. So for the pan, we just add some oil in it. You can add whatever kind of oil or butter you want. We just have peanut oil in there since it tastes pretty good. I'm going to come back over here with our fish that's been sitting in the batter, or I should say the egg wash. Just put it in here and kind of fold it in the seasoning. Put it on there. Okay, good, it's frying. We actually ended up doing 3 fish instead of 2 because I caught one right at the end whenever Daxton was checking his trap, which he said he caught 2 bluegill in it. So he was pretty excited about that. You don't want to let this cook. It shouldn't take very long at all. So I already flipped these 2. Just after a few minutes, you should be able to flip them. Maybe 5 minutes at the most. They should be looking something like this, how this is kind of crispy, especially if you have cornmeal in it. If you don't have cornmeal, they won't look as crispy. Yeah, that's what we're looking for right there. We've been frying them now for a little bit. The other side's looking like that. Kind of crispy. These should all be done. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. So what you're left with is just white flaky meat. And bass is really good. Bluegill, a lot of the fish like that are really good. So what do you think of it, Daxton?
Yeah.
You got 2 thumbs up? There's 2 thumbs up, guys. Stuff is pretty good. It's nice and flaky. It tastes great, especially if you prepare it like this. So we wanted to do something like this because it's what most people have at home. It's easy to make, doesn't take a long time. In the future though, we look to be doing different recipes and trying new things. And if you guys want to see more content like this, don't forget to
subscribe.
See you guys.
See ya, guys.